Welcome to the Points in the Paint podcast, everybody. Stadium's NBA podcast numero uno. We got Ben Wittenstein.
And Zach Badgerhouse, always in the house. One big thing, last week in the NBA being was on fire, sir.
Yeah, it was the trade deadline came and went. Lots of movement, some big names.
Big names.
It was a very hectic Thursday.
Oh, yeah, and even leading into Thursday alone, like we got a few trades even before Thursday. And there were some blockbuster deals too. And, you know what I'm saying, your homeboy, your boy down there in the Big D, not talking about Detroit, he got himself a little sidekick now.
He did.
We'll dive into that and talk a little bit about that too, Ben. But tell the people how they can get the podcast.
Yeah, you can find us anywhere. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, stuff I don't even know about. I'm sure you can find the podcast
Google
somewhere.
Podcast.
Google Podcast. There you go. Everyone who listens on Google. You can find us on YouTube. You can see our bright, shining faces on YouTube. Everywhere. You can call us 773-273-9088. 773-273-9088. Call or shoot us a text. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, at Points Paint, Instagram, anywhere that you get your pods, anywhere that you find content. We will be there with content for you for the NBA because, Zach, we're now in the middle of February.
Yep.
We're coming up on the NBA All-Star Game in about a week. But before the NBA All-Star Game, we had some trades going on in the NBA.
And I swear it used to be the opposite. I feel like the All-Star Game used to be first, and then the trade deadline would be like that same week, like that following week. So obviously, you know, the Sunday game, All-Star game, and then by that Thursday, that's the trade deadline. It's like reverse now. It's like in a whole different order. It's getting crazy.
It seems that way. It really does. I don't know if it's changed or if we just have really bad memories for it, but it does seem weird, too, that you have the trade deadline for the All-Star game because you're going to have guys who are playing for the East that could be playing for the West.
Exactly.
So it kind of messes with the balance of everything and how everything's going, too.
And so with Kyrie, obviously, as we can just get right into one.
Let's do it. One big thing.
Kyrie Irving is now a member of the Dallas Mavericks.
He is.
He is paired up with your boy Luka Doncic. In the first game, I like the first game. Even without Luka, he wasn't there in the first game. But first uniform for Dallas, for Kyrie Irving in Dallas Mavericks uniform, he go out there, drops 24 points. They never lose the lead in the game. They had a lead throughout the entire game, beat the Clippers. A good team, right? That's a good Clippers team. A team that I'm sure Luka probably would have wanted to play against because he always has his way whenever he plays the Clippers, Luka Doncic. But to see him, Kyrie, go out there, score 24 points, 4 made threes in a win, first game, I like it.
Yeah, it was good. And then they go out and then they lose.
They did.
Which is interesting.
It
was a bad situational spot. Luka came back. That's a tough situational spot for Dallas. You're trying to have Luka come back. You're trying to figure out the flow of the offense, and you're playing a team that, you know, knows itself and knows what's going on. So it was a tough situational spot. But that Dallas team now certainly got some help for Luka, which is pretty much the main concern for that team. And they were struggling. They were up and down for a good portion of the last few weeks. I think people kind of wavered on if they could be a contender in the Western Conference. But now, you know, as long as Luka and Kyrie can figure it out together, which it's still kind of too early to see if that's true or not, if they can figure it out, it is going to be a very tough team to beat. Because it was tough to beat anyway with Luka.
You know what, Ben? You say that, but it's like, how hard can it be, right? They've already talked about the pace of play. They want to improve that. They want to make sure they're out, getting out in traffic, getting out in the fast break. Because, you know, Luka kind of slows the ball down, keeps the pace at like his pace, how he wants to play. But now with the addition of Kyrie, some of the teammates that even asked to him have asked Luka, can we up the tick in terms of pace and speed the game up a little bit so it benefits guys like a Kyrie Irving and other guys maybe like a Tim Hardaway Jr. for that matter. But, you know, honestly, Ben, I don't know if it's enough. I don't think it's enough.
Really?
I don't think it's enough.
You still think they need more?
I don't know if it's that they need more. The West just got so much more difficult to win, I think. And even with the other trade, which we can get into, Ben, I just don't think that they're going to have enough firepower. Let's talk about that other trade, right?
Yeah, so the reason the West got even more difficult, Kevin Durant, moving from the East to the West, is now a Phoenix Sun, teams up with Devin Booker, teams up with DeAndre Ayton. That's going to be a hell of a team to stop in the West when everyone is healthy. When Durant comes back, he's fully healthy. And Phoenix immediately shot up to be one of the favorites to win the championship, not just the West, but the championship itself. I want to say pump the brakes. I really do because
I want to hear your thoughts.
I want to say pump the brakes. Now I understand on paper this team looks really, really good.
I saw a photo and the photo said I see nothing but injuries. But go ahead.
Yes, that wasn't even my top list of issues, but injuries certainly are. We know Durant's hasn't been fully healthy all season. Ayton hasn't been fully healthy all season. Devin Booker hasn't been fully healthy all season. So they have injuries.
And Chris Paul.
And Chris Paul. Yeah.
You see a picture, you see nothing but injuries.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention Chris Paul, of course. But I think what's interesting, and I'm not saying by any means that Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are as good as Durant, because they're not combined. But you lose two very good role players.
Very good young players.
Very good young players, very good role players. So that's
a guy in Mikal Bridges who hasn't missed a game in like 3 years.
Yes. And I love them on Brooklyn, by the way. I think Brooklyn – I bet Brooklyn to win tonight against the Knicks. And with this coming out tomorrow, I may look like an idiot. But I think the Nets are going to be really good with those two young players. And they are important to any team that wants to make a run to the finals. You need those type of role players, young guys who can score and sometimes get hot and play pretty good defense. Phoenix loses them. Now they get arguably the second best player in the world.
All right.
Who's sometimes not fully healthy.
Let's not say that lightly.
But you do lose some quality role players.
Lightly, I did. Listen, that lightly. Don't say that lightly now. That's tarantula.
It's
Slim
Kevin
Reaper.
Durant. It's Kevin Durant, and I don't want to take anything away from Kevin Durant. But what do you always say? The best ability is availability.
There you go.
So he needs to be healthy.
Yeah.
He needs to be healthy. And the Suns, they have the firepower. That starting lineup's disgusting. Yeah. It is so good.
Mm-hmm.
But will they have the bench? Will they have the role players that we have seen in the past with teams like the Warriors, with teams like the Raptors? You need a good bench. You need those good role players to make it through the entire playoffs.
Teams, to have a really complete team. I feel that. And so, they're actually going to have to probably adjust and change some things in terms of their rotation.
Yep.
They're going to have to split more minutes, I think, with DeAndre Ayton and whoever the big is going to be. You're definitely going to have to find some more perimeter shooting of some sorts. But I think, where did Terrence Ross go? I know Terrence Ross got waived from Orlando.
He's supposedly, last I saw, he's connected to the Suns. And the Suns were interested, but I don't think he has made any official moves as of this recording.
I know they're looking to get him, and so that's gonna add more depth to their bench in terms of like perimeter shooting, playing some defense. And Terrence Ross, he can get a bucket. He could be any given night can go out there and get like 15, 20 points depending on how he's feeling. So if they able to get him, they'll add another piece right to that bench, and I think they'll maybe be in good shape. They should be the favorites to me, I think, in coming out the West.
Yeah,
Booker.
No, I don't see why, and especially too, even if you don't feel like they're the favorites, the public does, and they're going to be betting the Phoenix Suns heavy. So these books are going to make the Suns favorites anyway.
What does this move? If you're the Denver Nuggets, what are you looking at when you see that move? Like, what do they have to do in order to? Do you think that they still believe that they're the best team in the West, having the best record in the West, the Denver Nuggets? You think they still feel like they can compete and get to the finals?
I do. I do think so, because they have, the Suns now have the first or second best player. Saying LeBron's the best player in the world right now, we'll just go with that. The Suns now have the second best player in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can make the argument Jokic is 3 or 4 best, at least in the NBA for sure right now. So the Nuggets have this firepower to match up with them. I didn't love the Bones Highland move. I thought he provided a lot of really good offensive help with the Denver Nuggets, even though he can be inconsistent defensively. He was improving on that, though. But the Nuggets, I do think, have the firepower to compete with the Phoenix Suns. But again, the Suns haven't been fully healthy all season long, so we're not really sure what type of team is going to show up. Are they going to be a fast-paced, high-powered offense, bad defensive team? Are they going to be a team that's a little bit more balanced and slows the pace? I really want to see what the identity of the Suns become before I say something like the Nuggets should be afraid or the Nuggets are going to be in trouble. Because right now, before this trade, the Nuggets were the number one team in the Western Conference.
Yep.
They were the team everyone wanted to beat. Jokic just going out and scoring triple-doubles like it's nothing.
Yep.
And he has a great supporting cast around him.
By the way, just throw that out there.
Absolutely ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So I want to see what type of identity the Phoenix Suns have, because there are certain types of teams that can beat the Nuggets. And they do struggle against certain types of teams with certain identities. I just want to see how the Suns really shape up and what they become when they are fully healthy.
Now, there's no Durant.
Yep.
There's no Kyrie no more in Brooklyn.
Yep.
Ben Simmons is still there.
Yep.
But did you hear James Harden comments about that trade and what he said?
What did he say?
He basically said, to put it lightly, that he doesn't look like the bad guy. Doesn't look like the guy that's the quitter or anything like
Simmons?
that. Calling it quits. No, James Harden. He doesn't look like the guy because he requested trade to get out of there.
Yes.
Before all the drama and all the mess
Before everything
came
hit
out.
the fan.
He got out of there before the fire even came.
Yeah.
He saw the smoke before the fire, so he left.
Yeah.
And you fast forward a year later, and here we are. Everybody crucified, including myself. Like, we all called James Harden a quitter for deciding to leave Brooklyn and go to Philly. But if you fast forward now, he technically is right. He doesn't necessarily, I don't know how you feel, but to me, he doesn't look like necessarily the bad guy in that situation because they're all gone now. It may have been the front office, may have been coaching. You got to remember, you go back to that trade situation where they requested the trade. What did KD do? It's Joe Tsai and the GM or me?
Right. I think Harden seemingly now he does seem like that was a smart move. That was a savvy move. He saw the writing on the wall. He saw how much of a mess that locker room was.
Right.
How bad Steve Nash was going to be at handling all the personalities in the locker room. So, yeah, sure. I'll say Harden made a smart move. I still don't like Harden. I don't like his style of play. I don't think you're going to win a title with him.
You know what I'm saying? He did do that at least, right?
He did.
He stopped that situation for himself before it even got bad.
He did. And yes, now that looks like a really smart move on his part. He saw what was going on.
Philly nice.
He saw Kyrie and Durant, and he's like, I need to get myself out of here. I don't think this is going to be good. And he saw the impending doom, and he got out of there. So I respect. Listen, he made the smart move. He made a move for himself. He put himself in a good situation with the 76ers, who are now one of those teams competing for a final spot. So he made the smart move, and I think kudos to him. He kind of kept his mouth shut about the insanity that was going on there, and I thought for a second he was talking about Simmons, who, credit to him, and I hate crediting Ben Simmons for anything, the man hasn't talked, which good for him in this situation. The less he talks about stuff, the better he's starting to look.
Okay.
Because now everyone's like, it's wild Ben Simmons wasn't the craziest guy in the Nets or wasn't the most ridiculous guy in the Nets. Because you look at this guy he's fine. He's an below average NBA player at this point. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything good, hasn't said anything bad. Sometimes the right move is just shut up and let other people make themselves look bad. And now he's kind of pushed himself into the background, and now he's somewhat the main guy on the roster for the Nets. Maybe he becomes a better player now that it's his team. I don't know.
And who team? You said Spencer Dinwiddie.
I hope it becomes. I hope it's their team. I hope it turns into Mikal Bridges' team. Listen, they could all become.
40 games.
Yeah, but the people going into that arena, the jerseys they're going to have more often than not are going to be Ben Simmons. So it's right now. It looks like it might be his team, quote unquote, but he needs to take it.
One last thing on this: do you think that this Brooklyn Nets team right now, as it's currently constructed, does this team remind you of the team that they had before they acquired Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant?
And I hated that. I hated it then because that team was fun. The team was young. They had cool players. They had a fun system. Kenny Atkinson was a good coach. It was a fun Brooklyn Nets team.
Working.
And I saw them make that move, and I was like, well, this sucks.
Star power.
The fun Nets team.
Yeah, the star power
gone.
Just over, you know, it's just over.
It's becoming one of those annoying teams that tries to load up on the stars. And now they're back to fun.
Back to that
Spencer
fun.
Dinwiddie. Yep. You look at their roster now.
It's just bucket getters now.
Yeah, it's just fun guys.
Play some basketball.
It's guys that you look at and you're like,
Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Seth Curry,
Nick Claxton's
Joe
fun.
Harris, Nick Claxton on the defensive end.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like this is a fun team.
Actually appreciate. Okay, so earlier, let's bring this conversation full circle. So earlier I was talking crap about Live on the Line having the Nets in the Knicks game be the game of the week. I'm like, why they ain't got Minnesota? At least, Brandon like Minnesota. I mean, he's from Minnesota. Why the Timberwolves in the Mavericks game isn't necessarily the game of the week? But now, thinking about it, I'm like, all right, I can kind of dig the Mikal Bridges, Spencer Dinwiddie, and it's in New York. You battle of New York. All right, okay, it could be the game.
How much more fun is this game now? How much more fun is the Nets?
Once I talk
and
about
the
it,
Knicks?
if I talk about it out loud, okay, that game's a little more exciting. That's because it's a gritty game.
Yeah.
Right? Like those are going to be two gritty teams when they face off.
There's going to be a game where you really you don't know what's going to happen. There might be some ridiculous stuff that happens in this game.
20-point lead might get blue.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. The Nets could blow them out. The Knicks could play really stupid basketball. Like, who knows? And I think that's a lot more fun than just being like, well, we're gonna watch Kevin Durant just dominate the Knicks again. Like it's what's gonna happen. I love watching Durant play, don't get me wrong, but this is a fun team. This roster composed as now, it's a fun, gritty team, and I love rooting for those type of teams, and I love watching those type of teams because they're just fun. They're a good time.
And then what's funny? Look at so you got Rihanna
You do.
You got ASAP Rocky, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know, but Full Circle, they used to go together back in the day before they made their first baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then they spent the block. You know what I'm saying? So they circled back.
Mm-hmm.
Just how the Lakers did with D'Angelo Russell. So they circled back. They spent the block on him. They had to come back and get him again. You know what I'm saying? So D'Angelo Russell and then got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers from the Minnesota Timberwolves.
He's back.
Russell Westbrook out the door. He in the buyout market.
Thomas Bryant's out the door. Shocking they made that move.
How you feel about the Thomas Bryant situation with the Lakers? I just
he
wanted more minutes or something.
Yeah, he wanted the trade.
Yeah, because apparently he wanted more minutes now that Anthony Davis was back. He felt like the decline in his minutes was unnecessary, which is, I mean, granted, you could feel that way, but that's still Anthony Davis. You know, at the end of the day. So.
He wanted the ball on LeBron's record-breaking shot too. He's like, I was open in the post. Give me the ball. So maybe that's why he left. But listen, Thomas Bryant is a great player. He's a great role player. When you talk about role players, that's the type of guy you want. A big guy who can extend the floor, shoot the three. He's aggressive. He's athletic. So he's, I don't know why the Lakers really gave him up. I think when someone like that asks for a trade, you're like, you're too valuable for us, man. We're going to keep you.
And then another thing too, being that I was trying not to harp on, was like, how everybody try to blame Russ in the end, like when it was all over. But it's like, I just think he's still going to be a serviceable player in this league, still a starter in this league, if you ask me.
Yeah, I can't say anything bad about him because he might go to the Bulls. So I listen, I love Russ now. Good guy, good player.
Oh my gosh! So that brings my next question. Two questions really. Are the Lakers now with Malik Beasley? They also acquired Malik Beasley from Minnesota, a solid player, a solid contributor to the team. Yeah. D'Angelo Russell. Will this make this team? And I know this is the biggest if on planet Earth. Like the biggest if, and I know it is. It's the biggest if. Mm-hmm. But if the Lakers could just somehow, some way, be healthy.
Yeah.
The next 26 games, just everybody be available, unless it's just like a back-to-back or something for someone. But if everybody's healthy, can this team be a playoff or play-in, or not a play-in team? Playoff, not a play-in team.
How many times have we, before I even answer that, how many times have we said that? If the Lakers are healthy, they're going to be great.
If we had $1 for every time, we would probably be setting ourselves up for new
We'd
careers.
be retired.
You know what I'm saying? But it's just like that Anthony Davis scenario. Yep. Now you got Brown with a lingering ankle injury. I still think that's smoke and mirrors. I don't think that's that big of a deal. We know Anthony Davis is made of family Dollar Tree glass.
Yep.
So it's a struggle bus with him.
So right now the Lakers are 4 games out of the 6th spot, which is the Clippers, ironically. So they are very much still within the chance of not even having to play the play-in game.
Exactly.
I think the additions that they have made over the past couple weeks, because don't forget, they still have Rui Hachimura now.
I like Rui.
He's a good addition.
I was just telling one of my friends that, too. He's a Laker fan.
I
like Rui on the team.
He's solid. They have some more shooting with Malik Beasley.
Yes.
They have size with Vanderbilt, which I think they needed, especially after Thomas Bryant's gone.
Yes.
D'Angelo Russell, probably an upgrade over Russ. I think you could make the argument for that.
Shooting-wise, absolutely.
Yeah. And then Mo Bamba, again, another big guy. I think you take a swing on him. Why not? Maybe he plays better with a better surrounding cast.
Maybe. It's still L.A., right?
Yes.
Everybody can't play in L.A.
No, that's true. Yeah, maybe, listen, you go out to the clubs, you hear songs with your name in it. Maybe Mo's staying out till 4 a.m. before every game. So I don't know about that, but I think the trades ultimately, overall, the Lakers, I think, improved. I really do. I think getting rid of Russ was probably a solid move. Don't love the Thomas Bryant trade, but I think if he's asking for it, maybe it would have been bad to keep him. But you bring in good talent. You bring in people, some shooters, which LeBron needs shooters. This isn't anybody who watches 2 games in the NBA knows LeBron needs shooters around him, and no one's been able to bring him that until now. So you get Malik shooting. Hopefully Russ, D'Lo can shoot consistently, and I think that'll help. Ultimately, the Lakers did get better, and they were pretty bad to begin with, and they're still only 4 games out of the 6th spot. So I think they have a pretty solid chance. Again, with the caveat, as long as they stay healthy. They need to stay healthy. Anthony day-to-day Davis can't be day-to-day anymore.
That's true.
I don't know what LeBron's going to start feeling like now that he's broken the record, because now you see him, he's in and out of games now. He's done what he needs to do. He's now, because it was weird, right? Seeing this year, you notice LeBron wasn't sitting out as much as he used to during the regular season.
They had time for that. Like, we ain't got time. Bro out.
Yeah, they need to make
AD
the playoffs.
out.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't got time for that.
Yeah, no, that's true. So I do think the Lakers got better. I think they made the right trade moves in the deadline, and ultimately I think they're for sure going to get the play-in game, I would imagine. And they might make the 6th spot.
They might get out of there.
They might make the 6th spot.
Bucks, they done won 10 in a row, man.
Wow. And now they're adding Jay Crowder.
And adding Jay Crowder.
Crazy.
So they're getting even more help on the bench. So that's even more depth for the Milwaukee Bucks in the East.
It's ridiculous.
Now, Chris Middleton was out last year, Ben. So I'm just going to say it right here, right now. That's the reason why they lost last year. I wholeheartedly believe it. That's why they lost.
Interesting.
The Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Boston Celtics because they did not have Chris Middleton available. But guess what? He's back this year. Drew Holiday back. And I think, Ben, the Boston Celtics don't stand a chance if the Bucks healthy. And I say it with my chest, too. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are better than the Boston Celtics. And the team to really beat in the East is not the Boston Celtics, the reigning Eastern Conference champions, but the Milwaukee Bucks.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. And if this was 2 months ago, I would have disagreed because we were talking about Boston having the best offense in the history of offenses.
We were, yep.
And they've kind of regressed back to the mean, and Milwaukee's just kind of cruising. They're on cruise control. This is the Bucks on cruise control.
They had no worries. Didn't really make any moves at trade deadline.
None. They do not care. The Crowder addition is awesome. That is an awesome addition. He is going to help so much, kind of like the P.J. Tucker, what P.J. Tucker did for them.
Perfect description.
That's how I see it.
Basic, just perfect description the way to describe it.
3-and-D type of guy. Like Crowder's streaky, but when he's shooting threes, he can hit 3 straight threes.
Straight threes.
And he plays defense, and that's important when the Bucks are probably going to have to get through the Celtics to get to the finals.
And you got to guard the likes of Jason Tatum and
Yep.
Jaylen Brown, those kind of wing players. And I told you before the season started, this league's so wing-driven, it's ridiculous. You better have somebody out there that can put the clamps down on one of these wings in this league.
Yeah, and getting rid of George Hill, he's a solid defender, but they'll be all right. They'll be fine.
I actually like Javon Carter, and I hate to use this analogy because I never really do, but he's younger. Like Javon Carter, he is younger. He's more of a younger guy, and he's been shooting the ball kind of well off the bench lately too. Like he catching that ball from Giannis on the wing and in the corner, the kickouts. He knocking it down with confidence. I like Javon Carter and what he's been doing out of West Virginia.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think this Bucks team is set up fine. The fact that they go on these streaks is ridiculous. They are going to be. I would love to see a Bucks Nuggets final. A Bucks Suns final would be really fun as well.
You want your boy in there,
but I want to see Jokic play. I want to see a Jokic Giannis matchup. Two freaky looking dudes.
It's so hard to judge the Nuggets because they never get it done.
Nope,
and
they can't finish.
By that. Like,
they cannot finish the big stuff.
They finish the big stuff when it comes to like the playoffs and postseason. Come April, come May, like you know what the factor is. The opponent team, you know who you have to stop. You know who you have to key in on, and it's weird because like Jokic can do a multiple different things on the basketball floor. We know that pass, shoot, dribble the ball up the floor, whatever. But it's like come playoff time. It's like either the guys around him don't step up or it's just missed opportunities from him is why they never really get the whole thing done, like advance to the Western Conference Finals or advance to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I think the addition of Thomas Bryant, speaking of him, will help them a lot. He plays he plays a Jokic style. Passing-wise, not great, but he can stretch the floor like Jokic can. So I think he was a great addition. Their depth is solid. It's solid, but the consistency needs to be there when the big games, when the light's the brightest. It's going to come down to how well they can play with Jokic. And, Michael Porter hasn't been an idiot this season. He's been good. He's been actually solid. This is like kind of the Michael Porter that we talked about for 3 freaking years. Like, this is what we expect. He's averaging over 15 points a game. His efficiency is solid. This is kind of what we expected from him.
AG still doing his thing. Aaron Gordon is still playing like out of his mind, co-signing with Jokic. They just play dynamic duo ball, off ball. I just love the way that they play with each other. With Aaron Gordon.
Kind of crazy.
Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So I do like that team. I think, when you look at the best teams in each conference, the Nuggets, the Suns, I don't know about the Clippers. I guess the Clippers.
It's tough.
We even talked about the Grizzlies and how weird they've been.
The Clippers trade deadline to me was so unnecessary. Like, they made a lot of unnecessary moves, in my opinion.
Those seem like desperation moves.
Like, yeah, because like the Bones. I mean, granted, I like the Bones Holland pickup.
Yeah, that's great.
But I thought that was bad on the Nuggets part as well. Like, especially if you're going to be battling with that same team coming postseason. Like, I didn't think that was a solid move to be trading players with them in particular. But
I agree.
I just feel like the Clippers made so many unnecessary moves. Like, they made moves as if they had to make moves. Like, they were in a panic, rough spot. The only rough spot or rough situation they really got going on is that they players don't play.
Yeah.
The players do not play. Like, I don't
injury.
think they have an issue with in terms of, like, the talent they had. Like, they needed to switch things or turn things around. They trade John Wall. He's going to be in a buyout market now. And They got rid of Reggie Jackson. It's like you guys created problems for yourself.
Yeah, 100%. They did not handle it well at all. Let's do what's trending.
Word.
Of course, we got to mention LeBron James passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, top scorer in the history of basketball.
Is he the best scorer ever?
LeBron?
Yes.
I don't know.
Before you answer the question,
I don't know.
the context to this is, so Michael Jordan career average is 30, like 30.1. Elgin Baylor's, I believe, is like 30.2 or something. And then it's like LeBron is 27, Kevin Durant is like 27, and then there's like one more other player. So he's technically a top 5 scorer of all time. Like technically, career average is 27, right there above, right underneath Mike and Elgin. So he's at least at minimum being a top 3 scorer of all time, if not the best. Not
Yeah, that's undeniable. I would say, because when you asked that question, the immediate thing I thought of was you have one shot to win a game. Who are you going with? I'm not even thinking about LeBron. I'm honestly not even thinking about Michael Jordan, who I would probably put before LeBron. I'm thinking of like Kevin Durant.
Okay, that's fair.
Because when you talk about him playing, and it looks like he's playing practice chairs.
I mentioned him too, right. And I mentioned him too is right. One of those 4 or 5 guys. Career average is 27.
Yep.
KD is technically a top 5 scorer of all time.
I would honestly put KD above LeBron in terms of if I need a basket, I'm going to KD first before LeBron. Honestly, maybe before Jordan.
Damn.
Which is it's close, but. There is no one on earth, and I could see people making the argument no one on earth could stop Michael Jordan or LeBron as well, but there really is 0 people on the planet that could stop Kevin Durant from getting to a spot where he can make a shot.
Okay, that's how you live.
The man's 7 feet tall. He has a silky 3-point shot. He's automatic from the mid-range.
Being to just stoop me out of nowhere, he just said, not even Mike. You rolling with Durant?
I think I'm going with Kevin Durant.
Slim Reaper. I ain't got no problem with that at all. I really don't. We talk about it all the time. He look like that's a chair guard him out there.
Yeah, listen, you cannot guard Kevin Durant. You can just hope he has an off night. Kevin Durant at his best, no one's stopping him. And you could make the same argument for Jordan, but I think there are defenders in today's NBA with their size and speed that could give him issues. And there are times LeBron just can't shoot 3-pointers. He just struggles shooting 3-pointers.
1 for 8.
And Durant is not going to have issues with big defenders. He's not going to have issues with shooting threes. Mid-range, he's making 10 out of 10. Like, he's just making 10 out of 10. Hand in his face, maybe he makes 8 out of 10. So,
what hand? He can't see that hand.
Yeah, it's just like an ant. You're not going to do much. So I would honestly probably take Durant out of all of those guys. But LeBron is a top 3 scorer of all time. I'm fine with that.
Me too.
I don't see any. I mean, Kobe's on the outside looking in. That's just the realism of the argument here. If we're talking KD, LeBron, Jordan, I'm not putting Kobe above any of them.
Hey, you said it. I think
I'll say it. Hey, write me on Twitter.
Hey,
do it. I'll argue. That's fine.
Look, a lot of people right now might just turn the podcast off after you said that.
That's fine. Send me hate tweets. That's fine. What else is trending? Zion's out more weeks. I hate it because we talked about it after last year. We said, great guy, awesome talent. Can he stay healthy?
Gotta be available.
His body is awesome in theory, but it's injury prone. This is the problem.
Yep. So they've struggled. I think they went in a stretch where they lost like 11 games in a row.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
So they're not looking too well. They got B.I. back because they were missing him too. Brandon Ingram was out too, but he's been coming back from injury, and so they're slowly kind of trying to get it together. I think they won a last game they played. But we'll see what happens as they continue to move forward without the big fella Zion Williamson.
Yeah. Buyout market is the other thing trending, and I talked about Westbrook, the rumors and the rumbles. He might go to the Bulls. Why not? The Bulls suck anyway.
You want Wall or Russ?
Russ. I don't know. Wall's. I don't know. Is he going to play fully with Wall? Like, how injured is he still?
I don't even think that's the problem. I just think the Clippers just mishandled his contract and his whole situation.
It's possible.
Because think about it. They got rid of John Wall and Reggie.
Yeah, they did. Which that's
super bizarre.
Yeah, that's an interesting move on their part. I would probably want Russ just because he's turning more into a passer sometimes too when he needs to be.
And I think that's exactly
what the Bulls need.
They
just need it so badly. They need a true point guard. They were playing so well, Alonzo. I could talk my way into Russ being a good Chicago Bull because then they could kind of play like they had with Alonzo. He likes to play fast-paced. The team likes to play fast-paced. Give me Russ. Give me Russ. Why not? The Bulls aren't doing much. Give me Russ. I would love to see him sign. Terrence Ross, we talked about. I think he's probably signing with the Suns is what the rumors are going on. Who knows with John Wall? I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go.
What's the best fit for him?
Back to the Wizards?
You're not really wrong.
Is that,
you might be joking.
Saying that?
Like, you might be joking, but that may have to be the case. They technically do not have a true point guard over there. And I know that's not a glooming team, and we've talked about them losing like 7 or 8 games in a row like 2 months ago, and they haven't really bounced back from that, being kind of under 500 and being at the bottom of the team, being one of the bottom teams in the East. But I can promise you, if John Wall was back in D.C., it'd be a whole different life and energy.
I think so, too. And I think also the pecking order is established a little easier now because there was, what I read, there was a little bit of bumping heads with Briel and Wall before they got rid of Wall about like who's going to be the guy. Mm-hmm. I think if Wall goes back there, everyone, himself included, know it's Beal's team. So I don't think there would be that issue as much anymore. Right. It could be interesting. It'll be an interesting experiment if he does go back there. Anyone else you want to mention for buyout market?
Pat Bev's out there.
Yeah. Hey, he's another guy connected to Chicago because he's a Chicago guy and they both need a point guard. I don't want to root for Pat Bev. I don't want to have to root for that guy. I've hated him so long.
He's from the city. He's from the side. He's from the west side.
Listen, Anthony Davis from Chicago, and I still like making fun of him. Day-to-day Davis. So I don't know. I mean, there's some interesting names in the buyout market, but nothing huge other than, Westbrook and Wall. And Ross, I think, is a sneaky, really good addition for the Suns or for any team that gets him if they're a contender. Right. So we'll have to see where they go.
NBA All-Star weekend. Yeah. It's this weekend.
Yeah.
It's in Utah.
Yeah.
What they going to do out there? How are they going to enjoy themselves?
I just hope the dunk contest is fun. That's all I hope every single year because I know all the contests are going to be fun. Oh, man.
You got Mac McClung.
It's such a random names list.
Not really, though. Because KJ Martin, he's been around for a little while now. Trey Murphy, he balling in New Orleans. I don't think he's known as really as a true dunker, though.
No.
He's had a few moments, though, in this season. I've seen him. He's definitely had a few moments getting up there, climbing that ladder. And KJ Martin dunking on any and everybody. He's floating from the free throw line.
Yeah, he is. I'm just worried, and we talked about it last year. Have we run out of dunks? Have we run out of things?
But it's just, bro, I told you, like I said last year, I personally blame the NBA, the internet. I blame the internet.
Yeah.
You see all these crazy dunks on Instagram. A dude might put his arm in the rim reverse. It's so ridiculous on the internet that when it's time to watch something like a professional NBA player dunk the basketball and not a quote-unquote professional dunker.
Right.
That's what we're doing.
That's
now.
their only thing that they do.
We got professional dunkers out here now. I guess they can't do anything but dunk the basketball. Can't really play or anything of that nature. Just dunk. But when you got guys like that out here, it's kind of ruining the element of what the dunk contest is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But I think, though, being that Mac McClung and KJ Martin are going to give us a show.
Okay.
I think so. I really do.
I really do. I think the creativity needs to be a little better, but certainly smarter because we do see guys trying to be creative.
They try to be creative, but they don't make the dunk. They got to try 7-8 times.
Yeah, you need a dunk you can make on the first try.
Yes.
Save the harder dunks for if you actually make it to the next rounds. Like at least save it for that. But have some fun with it early on with dunks you can actually make. I don't know. I hope. We saw it got revived in Chicago in 2020, and that was an awesome dunk contest.
Yep.
But that was like the best dunk contest like 3 years before that, and then it's been the best dunk contest since. It hasn't been fun.
Like the Olympics for real.
It does. Every 4 years we get a good dunk contest. That's all it is. Let's see what else. 3-point shootout. Do you like anyone?
Simon.
Yeah,
Anthony Simon.
He's unbelievable.
I was surprised Tyrese made it. Because he got like a quirky shot.
His shot
looked quirky to me, so I was surprised that he was called to represent and participate in 3-point contest. But you got Lillard, and then there's rumors that Lloyd Marketing, 7-foot sniper. You want to root for a 7-footer again? Because Cat won last year.
Yeah,
they might go back to back for the big fellas. Lloyd Marketing might come out on top.
Great nickname. That'd be great.
Wrote about him too this week. Make sure you check out Zach and Present 6. Definitely wrote about the finish.
Important. I think it'll be a fun weekend. I really do. There'll be fun celebs.
What they gonna do in Utah? go back to that question.
That's why it'll be fun. They'll all be very focused, not hungover, not out partying late in Utah. Everything closes down 9:30 p.m. It's bedtime for everyone at 10. That's how it works in Utah, Salt Lake City. Bedtime for everyone, 10 o'clock, lights out.
Glad you know. Listen, they going to be struggling out there. They got some concerts I see.
Yeah.
Wiz Khalifa's supposed to perform. Chloe Bailey's supposed to perform. Travis Scott, Pitbull is supposed to be out there. So they got some people hitting.
You think all those guys, you think it's the first time in Salt Lake City for all those guys?
I don't know all of them, but maybe some of them. Travis Scott probably been in Salt Lake. He's a little weird dude. He probably been there. Shaq West is going to be there. Don Tolliver's going to be there. So it's going to be some people there, I guess. I just was surprised that, like, it's Utah, bro. That's Mormon area.
Post Malone City.
I don't even know if he's showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be different.
It'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting to see, and maybe too, because it's a bit thinner air up there. It's above 4,000 feet or something like that. Maybe the dunkers fly super high.
All right.
Maybe they get up high.
There you go.
You see people jump off the gym. Thin air. They can jump higher.
The celebrity game would be cool. D-Wade is supposed to be the captain. He's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
That'll
be cool. Any cool celebs? Usually they get. Last year was kind of meh.
21 Savage.
Oh, that'd be fun.
He could play at least.
It's usually like C to B list celebs at most.
Janelle Monáe. I know who she is.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
Corday.
Okay. Kane Brown. Isn't he a country singer?
I think so. Kane. Yeah.
You have to have that in Utah for sure.
Darren Williams. Utah point guard. He's going to be coaching, I believe, the
Illinois' finest.
The Jordan All-Star game. The Jordan
that'd be fun.
Stars game. So that's going to be cool.
All right,
with the young
maybe
guys.
it'll be fun.
They got a courtside concert too. It looked like with Saweetie, the girl that had the McDonald's. She had the McDonald's commercial, so she's gonna be out there too. So like it'll be a good time.
It'll be fun.
I hope for them. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of the players and the fans that are gonna be out there in Utah, Salt Lake City. Let me quit throwing shade.
Maybe it'll be great. Who knows?
Yeah, it would probably be. What if best round? It'd be like the best one in like 20 years. And it was in Salt Lake City. You had to be there.
Just gotta throw down. Let's go on the hotline. Let's listen. See what the listeners have to say. Again, give us a call if you want. Leave us a text.
273-9088.
You can tweet at us at PointsPaint as well on Twitter or on Facebook. Dell in Ohio says, looking at the Heat sneaking out of the play-in.
They're currently in the 6th spot.
So by out of the play-in, does he mean out of the play-in in a good way, that they'll make the playoffs without having to play, or they're just going to drop out of the playoffs entirely?
I think he meant like they're not in the play-in scenario.
Okay.
So like 6
sneaking out. Yeah, because right now they're a game and a half above the Knicks, who are in the 7th spot. I mean, he'd have been playing well, and I know people were surprised that they didn't make any major moves in the trade deadline. People thought they may move like Kyle Lowry, or they were going to try to move some guys.
That's a big contract to try to move, though. That's the tough part.
The thing is, this is the Lakers issue. When the Heat are fully healthy, they're a really good team. They're a solid squad.
They just got to be healthy.
World-class coach. They just have to be healthy. Bam has to be healthy. Jimmy Butler has to be healthy. But when everyone is healthy, they're as good as most
And Bam has played
teams.
really well this year. I know I've been kind of griping on my man's Bam to step up and play better, but I'm saying he's averaging about over 21 points a game, I believe, like 9 rebounds. But man, make sure you can get that 11. Turn 9 into 11 and then turn 21 into like 26, and then you'll be one of the premier players like Jokic and Embiid and stuff, where I think you should be at.
That's true. Alex in Michigan, get number 17 off the Lakers. The bromance gotta stop.
Let me give you a little background context to this, because you may not be familiar. So Dennis Schroeder is number 17 on the LA Lakers. And if you're unfamiliar with Darvin Ham's coaching tree and coaching record, how he ended up with the Lakers. So we know he used to coach underneath lead assistant for Milwaukee Bucks underneath Budenholzer. But you also know he was with the Budenholzer staff when he coached the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, I did not know that.
He was on that staff.
Okay.
And who was on that team?
Good old Dennis
Schroeder. So Alex in Michigan believes the bromance connection comes from Atlanta, and so that's why Dennis Schroeder gets so many minutes playing for the LA Lakers. But he believes that it's time to get Dennis Schroeder off the court.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't add much. He's such a replaceable
the last
player.
game on Saturday, he definitely played well for them. I think he might have outplayed Anthony Davis too. He had the best Laker performance in that win that they had, because they did win the game too.
They did, yeah, that's true.
LeBron, and so you might have to pump the brakes, at least for now, on number 17 in his minutes. He might need the minutes to get himself going or something. But sometimes he do be out there acting a fool.
He does. He's such a meh player.
Yeah,
it's so
feel
funny. He's such a replaceable guy. D from PG says this KD trade makes the Suns for sure champions, right? CP3 gets that championship finally.
Nah, I'm with him on the second part. I can get with CP3 finally get the chip.
That'd be great.
Because if he go on the championship, I wholeheartedly believe he will retire.
Yes.
He won the championship.
He just wants to win. He's like, I want to retire, but I got to win first. I'm so close.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if KD coming over, probably is going to be the best opportunity he's ever had to win a championship.
Yes.
Having a guy like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant alongside with a pick and roll center big man in DeAndre Ayton, bro, they should do some things, honestly. Like,
you would hope. You would hope.
On paper, you read that out loud, they should do some things.
It makes them champions on paper, is what I'll say. It makes them champions on paper, which is infinitely harder to do it in person, obviously. But, yeah, this is the closest Chris Paul has gotten to being in the NBA Finals and having a chance to win.
Outside of obviously making it, but just like I feel like this team is probably going to be even better team once KD returns and really turn this team around and really try to get them to the promised land.
Yeah, because when he was in it, he wasn't. People didn't think that it was like if he won, it would have been a super big underdog story for the most part, especially after the way those finals went. But now, like everywhere he plays and every team that he plays in the playoffs, any finals team that he goes to, other than maybe if it's against like a streaky hot Bucks team, they're going to be the favorites. Mm-hmm. He's going to be on a favorite to win the finals team, and that's huge if you're someone who's looking to retire and get that championship and get it.
Oh, yeah, especially if he's 37, 30.
Yeah, right.
You reach
Time's
40.
ticking.
Yeah, time ticking for my man's Chris. So, so we appreciate D from PG. We appreciate Alex in Michigan, and we definitely appreciate Dale in Ohio. That's going to conclude this edition of the Points in the Pain podcast presented by Stadium. I'm Zach Batcherhouse. That was my main man, Ben Wittenstein. You can both follow us. You can follow us both on social media, of course. Follow at Points Paint, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Twitter, TikTok. YouTube.
Yeah, you're on TikTok now.
What I'm saying? Wherever we at. Listen, I don't even like the fact that I am on TikTok, but I am. So you definitely see the podcast content on my
That's what you need.
On my TikTok at Who Guys At. And that's gonna include this edition of the Points in the Paint podcast. You'll hear from us next week.